1876 centennial celebrations. The city planners got together with the Schuylkill Navy at the time. They invited my predecessors to sit and think about what a great summer of 1876 would look like, and decided that having a fantastic international regatta would be an important part of those ceremonies. And fast forward all these years later, the Schuylkill Navy, with our city partners, continue to run a great event over the Independence Day weekend year after year after year. I'll remind you that that conversation took place 20 years before the modern Olympic Games. And this weekend, we will have 5,000 athletes and over 10,000 fans come to Philadelphia to continue this great summer, because when we began planning this year's celebrations, the city again involved us, and we voluntarily decided that, keeping with Mayor Parker's One Philly vision, it would make the greatest amount of sense and be the best thing for the city to actually move this historic regatta away from its traditional date. And you may hear some of our speakers speak more about that a little bit later on. But we're so excited to welcome all of these people to continue this great summer. And in order to tell you a little bit more about that partnership, it's my honor to introduce you to Commissioner Susan Slauson, who is a great advocate of rowing and the Schuylkill River, and such a tremendous asset to our city of Philadelphia, and we couldn't do anything that we do without her incredible team. So, Commissioner Slauson.
Thank you. You know, you don't take this weather for granted. It is absolutely gorgeous out here. There's no rain, there's no wind, and then we have this amazing river. Thank you all for being here this morning. And on behalf of Mayor Sherelle L. Parker and the City of Philadelphia, welcome to the Independence Day Regatta. This summer has shown exactly what Mayor Parker envisions of Philadelphia, a city where history is celebrated and the world's biggest moments find a home right here in Philadelphia. I'm Susan Slauson. I'm Commissioner of Philadelphia Parks and Recreation, and as I noticed my colleague here, City Controller Christy Brady, thank you for being here this morning. I saw Prachi. Where is she? Did I? She didn't make it. Okay. Just a representation always of what the mayor says One Philly looks like. We show up wherever we're supposed to be, right? This has been an incredible summer for Philadelphia as we've celebrated our nation's 250th anniversary. Our parks and public spaces have welcomed, oh my goodness, over 500,000 visitors and showcased the very best of Philadelphia. We have been placed on a map in a way like no other before. Before I begin, I'd like to recognize our true partner and champion of parks and recreation and everything this river has to offer. Bonnie Mueller, Commodore Emeritus of the Schuylkill River Navy. Could we give Bonnie a round of applause, please? Bonnie is an extraordinary woman. She has a vision. She supports everything that happens. She is an advocate. Bonnie, thank you. Because without people like Bonnie, you know, this doesn't continue. You need that voice. You need that person that's ensuring that we do what we're supposed to do, and she gets the support that she needs. She's leaving an indelible mark on the rowing community here in Philadelphia. Through events you have helped shape the Schuylkill Navy, just continue to promote access. And that's what this is about, access to rowing and paddling, stewardship of the river in Fairmount Park, youth development. We talk about our youth all the time. It is tremendous to have so many young people on this water, and the athletes competing on the national and international level. On that stage, I just found out so many of them come right here from Philadelphia. Thank you also to Paul Muller. I know Paul because he is an amazing supporter of so many things here in Philadelphia. Temple rowing and so many other things that we need help with in Philadelphia. That's One Philly, stepping up when you recognize that you need help. And so Toyota Dealers Association, Philadelphia City Rowing, Temple University Rowing, volunteers, and everyone who's helped make this weekend possible. If this summer has taught us anything, it has reminded us of the power of partnership. When organizations come together around a shared vision, we can accomplish extraordinary things. But while we provide spaces, it takes extraordinary people and organizations to bring those spaces together. And before I go any further, I want to recognize Brandon Johnson, who's standing up in the back, who should probably be up here with us, and the entire BLJ community rowing family. Brandon's story is a Philadelphia story. She learned to row right here on the Schuylkill River as a teenager, competed at the highest levels of the sport, and returned home with a vision to make rowing accessible to everyone. So Brandon, thank you for being out here with us this morning. And all of us have a vested interest. Yeah. All of us have a vested interest in these treasured spaces, but even more importantly, we are investing in future generations. To the athletes with us today, Claire's trying to get me on order, and I think it may happen, Claire.
It's gonna happen.
Yeah, and Maurice Scott, and I'm not gonna hold the mic too long, but some of you know that I used to be the commanding officer of PAL. And Maurice Scott was one of those PAL kids that was in my office. His dad was an officer at PAL. So I am overwhelmed that I am standing here today. And I can only say thank you, Maurice, for setting this example. It truly means a lot. It makes a difference when you can see a young person and a kid. And thank you to Dad, Maurice. Thank you for being that example, for making sure that he had what he needed to be who he is right now. So I want to give you an applause as well. This regatta perfectly captures what has made this summer so special. For the first time since 1858, the Schuylkill Navy voluntarily moved this historic event in support of Mayor Parker's One Philly vision, proving that Philadelphia's history is always being written. I just said to Claire, it is important to capture our history. It is important to make sure that we memorialize what is happening here. This weekend, we're also proud to welcome more than 5,000 athletes along with their families and supporters to Philadelphia for what I'm sure will be a fierce but friendly competition. We hope you enjoy all our city has to offer, and thank you for carrying this remarkable legacy forward in Fairmount Park. It is now my pleasure to introduce Jeff Greenfield, our Commodore of the Schuylkill Navy.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for being here. For more than 165 years, the Schuylkill Navy has called this river home. Every spring and summer, our banks fill with athletes, families, spectators who come to watch some of the oldest and most storied regattas in American rowing. None of that happens without partnership, and it's an honor to stand here today to recognize two of the partners who make it possible. It was an easy decision for us to move IDR from its normal 4th of July weekend to support the mayor's One Philly vision. No one asked us to do it, but it was the right decision to ease the burden on city services, traffic, etc. So first, to our partners in the city, Parks and Rec, Controller Brady, Office of Special Events, Marine Police, EMTs, etc., thank you. Your support in permitting, safety coordination, park access, and public works keeps this river open, navigable, and ready for competition year after year. Rowing on the Schuylkill is as much a civic tradition as it is an athletic one. And that tradition endures because the city treats it as a shared responsibility. We're grateful for that partnership and for everyone in this administration who works to make our daily training and regattas possible. Second, I want to recognize the Tri-State Toyota Dealers Association. Toyota's support goes far beyond a name on a banner. As our presenting sponsor, Toyota has helped ensure that historic regattas continue to run at the highest level, and just as importantly, has invested directly in high-performance rowing here in Philadelphia. That means more athletes on the water, better training and equipment, and a stronger pipeline for junior rowers all the way up to national and Olympic level competitions. Toyota understands what this community understands, that the Schuylkill isn't just a scenic backdrop, it's a training ground for excellence. We at the Schuylkill Navy do this work as volunteers, not only to enable the athletes to compete, but also to support the mission of the Schuylkill Navy, to support the dreams of high-performance rowers. Many athletes who've trained on the Schuylkill are going to Worlds in Amsterdam this year, and we're privileged to have one here today, Claire Friedlander. Others are training for the LA Olympic Games in 2028, and Maurice Scott is here today from that group. Maurice is a PCR alum and has a new docuseries on NBC documenting his life growing up here in Philadelphia called Forged. He'll talk about that in a minute. So on behalf of every club, coach, athlete of the Schuylkill Navy, thank you to the city of Philadelphia and to Toyota. Because of you, this river will keep doing what it's done for over a century and a half, bringing people together and producing world-class rowers. Let me introduce Maurice Scott, Olympic aspirant, LA 2028.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that one. So thank you guys all for being here. When people around the world think of Philadelphia, they think of the Liberty Bell, Rocky, cheesesteaks, but for so many of us, they also think of Boathouse Row. Boathouse Row is one of the most recognizable landmarks in our city. It represents generations of history, tradition, and excellence. But like Philadelphia itself, it has also been on a journey, one that continues today, a journey toward becoming more welcoming, more representative, and more connected to every community across our city. That journey is one of the reasons Forged matters. This documentary tells my story, but it's really about what can happen when opportunity reaches someone who never imagined they belonged in a place like this. For me, that opportunity came through Philadelphia City Rowing. During my time there, our team became a reflection of what Philadelphia can be. We came from different neighborhoods, different schools, different backgrounds, and different life experiences. We didn't all start in the same place, but every day we climbed into the same boat with the same goal. We learned that success wasn't about where you came from, it was about trusting one another, working together, and pulling for something bigger than yourself. That's the kind of community I believe Boathouse Row continues to strive towards. Not because the work is finished, but because there are so many people, coaches, volunteers like Bonnie, organizations like Philadelphia City Rowing and Schuylkill Navy, partners like the City of Philadelphia and Toyota, and athletes who believe rowing should be accessible to everyone. They understand that when more young people see themselves on this river, our entire community becomes stronger. Philadelphia City Rowing gave me more than a sport. It gave me mentors who believed in me before I believed in myself. It gave me lifelong friendships. It taught me discipline, resilience, accountability, and leadership. It created a family that pushed me to become the best version of myself, both on and off the water. Those lessons carried me far beyond the Schuylkill River. They carried me through college, into civil service, and into building rowfluencers, and today as I continue pursuing my dream of representing Team USA at the Olympic Games. My hope is that Forged encourages every young person watching that to believe they belong, that their story matters, that adversity doesn't have to define them, and that one opportunity can change the direction of an entire life. I also hope it reminds all of us that Boathouse Row is more than a collection of historic buildings. It's a community with the ability to bring people together, inspire excellence, and continue opening doors for the next generation. Because the strongest boats don't move because one person rows harder than everyone else. They move because every person is pulling together. That's the Philadelphia I believe in. That's the future I see for Boathouse Row, and that's the spirit I hope people take away from Forge. Thank you.
Thank you, Maurice. And again, that's on NBC Sports Philadelphia, premiering all week. We just have two more partners. I'm going to introduce them together right now, and Paul Muller will speak first, followed by Controller Brady, and then we'll have pictures afterwards. You keep hearing this theme of two important partners. We cannot thank enough Paul Muller and his fellow board members from the Tri-State Toyota Dealers Association. This is a partnership that has been more than a decade strong. I do believe that if you stop any person at a regatta or along Boathouse Row and ask that important question, like what automobile do you associate with rowing and with the Schuylkill River and these Schuylkill regattas, every single person will tell you Toyota, and that is because of the long-standing commitment that they've shown to everything that we talked about today. And so I'm going to introduce you to Paul Muller, and then immediately following Controller Brady, who will wrap up remarks from the City of Philadelphia, without whom, again, we could not also do this. So, Paul.
I love when they give you all these talking points, and I hate to look down when I'm talking to people, but I don't want to forget anybody. Thank you to the Schuylkill Navy for bringing us all together. We're so proud to support this organization and the rowing community, and one of Philadelphia's most recognizable landmarks, Boathouse Row. One of the things that sort of I've gotten out of our 10-year sponsorship with the Schuylkill Navy is the athletes themselves and their dedication. This may be one of the few sports where there's no pot of gold at the end of the tunnel. There's no $1 million contracts when you get out of college and you get drafted by a team, and these are people that are doing what they're doing for the love of the sport, for the inner peace, the inner satisfaction of breaking a record, of doing better than you did before. And to me, that's the essence of a true athlete. They continue to celebrate and promote rowing through their High Performance Collaborative, giving creative opportunities for athletes of all ages across the community. Just this past weekend, the Philadelphia Youth Regatta brought together athletes, families, coaches, and rowing clubs from across the region. With the Independence Day Regatta taking place this weekend, it's exciting to see all the enthusiasm and all the things that are going to go on around that. Beyond just the rowing, the Schuylkill Navy, their efforts to support the stewardship of the river, keeping it clean, keeping it flowing, keeping it healthy, is just a wonderful thing for Philadelphia and the region in general. We appreciate everything that the Schuylkill Navy allows us to do to support rowing. We are thrilled to be a part of it. It gives us, just recognize that the Tri-State Toyota dealers are made up of 25 dealerships in and around the Philadelphia market, from Allentown to northern Delaware, central or southern New Jersey, and up as far as Bucks County. This is our community as well. We may not live in Philadelphia, we may not all work in Philadelphia, but we all want to support the things that go on in this area. These are our neighbors, our friends, and we are just absolutely honored and proud to be a part of what goes on down here with the Schuylkill Navy and the river. So thank you very much, and it's all yours.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm City Controller Christy Brady. What an incredible day it is to be here along the Schuylkill River, celebrating one of the oldest and most historic sporting events in the country. I want to thank the Schuylkill Navy for its unwavering commitment to preserving this remarkable tradition and for ensuring it continues right here in Philadelphia. Keeping the Independence Day Regatta on the Schuylkill isn't just about honoring history, it's about preserving a tradition that is uniquely Philadelphia. I'd also like to recognize my colleague, Commissioner Susan Slauson, Paul Muller, Tri-State Toyota Dealers Association, for their long-standing partnership, and to recognize that private-public partnerships is how these events continue to happen. Commodore Jeff Greenfield, Commodore Emeritus Bonnie Mueller, Maurice Scott, whose journey from Philadelphia City Rowing, who I'm now a board member of, to Olympic hopeful is an inspiration to so many young athletes and all the volunteers whose dedication makes this event possible. As City Controller, I have had the privilege of attending many events across Philadelphia, but events here, right here on the Schuylkill, are especially meaningful to me because it's personal. For years, I've stood along this river as a proud crew mom, cheering on my son as both a member of St. Joe's Prep crew team and Temple University Hoot Hoot crew team. I've spent countless mornings and weekends in carpools and on these riverbanks watching athletes push themselves, celebrate victories, learn from defeats, push themselves, and form fresh friendships that will last a lifetime. When you're part of this beautiful sport, you quickly realize, as much as you want to win, that rowing is much more than crossing the finish line. It's about discipline, teamwork, and resilience. Those experiences have given me an even greater appreciation for what the Schuylkill River means to our city. That's one of the reasons I care so deeply about protecting this tradition in Philadelphia. The Schuylkill River isn't just a race course. It's part of Philadelphia's identity. Boathouse Row, as everyone has spoken about, is recognized around the world, and generations of rowers have come here on this river to compete on these historic waters. As other regattas have moved outside Philadelphia, I believe we should do everything that we can to bring them back and keep these historic events where they belong, on our river, in our city. I'm so excited about the future of rowing here in Philadelphia. We just heard from Maurice Scott, whose journey from Philadelphia City rowing to becoming an Olympic hopeful is a powerful reminder of what this sport can do. His story demonstrates that when we invest in young people and create opportunities, incredible things can happen. I also want to thank the Schuylkill Navy for its commitment to expanding access to rowing and supporting programs like Philadelphia City Rowing that make this sport available to more young people across Philadelphia. Preserving our history is important, but ensuring the next generation has the opportunity to experience this great sport is just as important. We've seen Philadelphia at its very best throughout this extraordinary summer, from the FIFA Fan Festival just up the road on Lemon Hill, to the MLB All-Star Game, to the celebration of our nation's 250th birthday. This weekend is another opportunity to showcase our city, welcome thousands of visitors, and celebrate one of our most treasured traditions. Let's continue working together to ensure great events like this stay where they belong, right here on the Schuylkill River. To everyone visiting Philadelphia, welcome. And to all of our athletes, especially my son, who will be copsing for Fairmount Rowing in the men's open event this weekend, and every competitor taking to the water, good luck. We are proud to have you racing here on the Schuylkill. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Controller Brady and everyone. We're going to have a couple of pictures now with our great support from Toyota. So that's it for the spoken remarks. Everyone will be around for any comments. And let's just take a couple of pictures in front of the podium, I think. All right? And if I can ask some of my Schuylkill Navy folks to take out their cameras and take some pictures too. Noah, I see you. Jasper, Marie, thanks so much.
Jeff in? Are you in, Jeff?
I'm in.
Okay, everyone have what they need? We good? All right, thank you so much, Toyota. Thank you, everyone.